Good morning, my loves, and welcome back to another episode on the Coin King channel. I am your host, Down to Crypto TA. It's Friday. Traditional markets are closed today. So I'm not going to expect too much out of Bitcoin today. I am still looking for our setup from yesterday to play out. So we talked about this setup yesterday about taking the liquidity right here. We did a little slight sweep right here into the 50% retracement right there. So I am in this trade. This is my second time actually entering in this setup. I entered it over here off of the candle reaction. I think I got like distracted or something. I wasn't really paying attention to the chart. I realized that we'd actually tapped our target, and I went ahead and entered. And I set my stop loss for break even after taking profits on this move down right here. I actually front ran the golden pocket and taking a little bit of profit. But we had a lineup to take a long position in here as well. I didn't take it. So if you've been following along with my trading strategy, then you would have known that this golden pocket was actually going to be a good place for you to take a scalp long position or however you want to play it. Just a little quick, some quick gains in here. And then I had to re-enter here. So I'm back in the setup again. And I hope everyone is doing wonderful. I've already locked in the fees that I had to pay on taking the trade, but that's about it so far. So hopefully it does better than what we got yesterday. I also the only thing I did in here was we had this target for a lot lower. I pulled it up to this low right here just because, like I said, it's Friday and traditional market is closed. I wasn't really thinking about that yesterday. So I don't know that we would actually play out everything that we were looking for in here, which was essentially trying to get down. Well, this move right here, coming down here towards the 786. So I cut it. I partially cut it. Okay, so we're starting to cross back below bearish territory. Or I mean, we're still relatively neutral since we're close to the 50 here on the 15-minute time frame. But we'll see if we won't get more out of it. I did see a bearish signal fire off on the 1 hour time frame. It's just been a hassle. Like this entire section over here where you see we got this little triangle formation over here. Of course, that was during the Asian session trading right here. And I was really getting annoyed with sitting in the position for one, because I mean Asia's been doing a wonderful job with propping price up. But I really just want to get the ball rolling. It's been so difficult to really make any type of money with these small moves, but we're here for it. And again, like the golden pocket right there, so we know here and here are different. And that would be the pause right there at the golden pocket, showing that it is a safe place to take that long entry or move back up here. But I didn't trade this right here. I didn't take that. I saw it last night, but I didn't take it because I figured, we're not we're not good enough right now. Like, we're not in a bullish enough environment. We're not in a bullish environment, period, for the RSI to get hot like that. So these shorts up here have been good. I didn't have to wait for it to come up here and tap this or anything. We're just not bullish like that. It would have been this one right here anyway. But we're simply not it would have been this. We're simply not bullish enough um for the RSI to be relatively strong. We're not strong. So we're not strong, and so it was wrong. We just got back into the short. Oh, I said I was going to share that. I got back into the short, and I'll show you the one where I took last night too. So trying to scratch what I can scratch out of this market. Man, they're not making it easy. They're really not. So this is the new short over here. This is the new one where I had to enter right here. And the one from the initial push in with the reaction. Make sure I say it with the reaction because that's what it was. I guess I could have left the other one up here and just so. We caught a heller position. So you can see the difference right here. So I managed to scratch off of that one before it came back up and stopped me out. We caught a hell of a position yesterday, right? And guess what? I didn't even hold it all the way through here. I did not hold it all the way through here. In fact, I closed it out as we're coming back to the top side, this line right here. I moved this bottom one, since it just looked better. But we last yesterday that long was this right here. Now I didn't tap it and I didn't have no limit order on it, but I showed you why I jumped in and it was like, man, that was so pretty. I hadn't did that in a long time, guys. I used to do that all the time and I used to be a boss with that. I used to be a boss with calling that bottom, without having to look at a lower time frame, just right here. But yeah, I closed it out so early. So that was on me. That was on me. I just since yesterday, I've just been doing a lot more studying, um, filling my head with the knowledge. I look forward to teaching at some point, like you've never heard it before. And when I say that, I mean that. I plan on teaching, and it will be nothing that you have learned from any, and I promise you, it will not be anything that you've learned. Out of all the videos on YouTube, nobody's gonna tell you what I'm gonna tell you because I know. But knowing is only half the battle, right? We have to lose this right here. We really do. We need to lose this right here. We need to fall below here. Let's get it going, Bitcoin. I want to see. I would really love for this to be a double top, and we come down. I mean, we did this part over here, and if I zoom out to past the 15-minute time frame, it does look like it could be a larger five-wave move. But right now, I can't bank on it. Right now, I'm hoping that ends up being the case. But right now, I really can't bank on it. And again, I hope you stuck to the plan yesterday. You were able to take this trade right here, at least scratch something off of this funky market. Funky market. Oh, let me push over here to the 1 hour time frame, which is real quick over here. Okay, so I can see our 1 hour is doing what it's supposed to do in here. We did drop back below our mean in here, which is great. And then if we were to extend our period back, we were seeing the rejection from there. So that's good over here on the 15-minute time frame. But take this away for a sec. I'm gonna let's see here. QTD. I noticed this right here, and that's a bearish signal right here. I need for this to follow through. That means I need for this white line right here to just blast us to the downside. Pop down, blast us to the downside. The same way we were waiting on this one right here to come through for this pop right here, which wasn't that strong. This isn't showing a lot of strength either, and it is the weekend, so I just take it for what it is. But um, we should see a continued move down right here to at least take out this low right here. So I just set it for that. Like I said, we've already taken the Asian session high and low. So there's nothing for us to do there. And if we get a full move all the way down towards the 786, then we ready for it. But right now I can't say that we do. 4 hour is still working out. 4 hour is still trying to um the longer we hold here, the less likely we are for a move down. I'm gonna put it to you bluntly like that. I don't care what strategy we're using. The longer we consolidate here and we don't see that drop, the less likely it is going to drop. And we're going to see a pump. You all know I've been watching the daily time frame here recently, and the daily time frame is trying to set up for a push to the upside. And the market's never going to really tell me how much it's going to push up. That is where something, where Elliott Wave could be very useful in that scenario. But right now, I just know that the longer Let me focus on here. The longer we stay here and we consolidate, the more likely we are to see a push to the upside. So a break out of this descending structure here. We talked about this. What I would like if I mean if it's gonna give it to us, and so far it's not showing that it's gonna give it to us, it would be like that, and then we break up and we come in and we take the liquidity through here and we finally get to moving. That's what I would like to see because this is also a larger channel and channels break to the upside. Now it would possibly be in an ABC formation. I don't wanna talk Elliott because 'cause I'm not an Elliottician, and there's just people out there who just know what the F they're talking about. But a channel tends to break to the upside, and you can compress 5 waves into a channel, which means when you break out, you're breaking out in your ABC correction, which means that, sure, yeah, we could come all the way up here as well. I'm not calling for any of that right now, but that's just a small talk for me in saying that, but this is absolutely trying to set up right here. We're holding neutral. As you can see, we're at a negative 86.91. We're holding neutral. We're holding. We're still holding our deviation. And until we lose that, I mean, yeah, we're definitely still holding our deviation. Ever since we got down here, you see what this -2. You can see how we continue to hold -2 down through here. We're holding our deviation, and right now we're in a great place right here, and we just need one pop up above here to come closer to our mean because you're gonna snap back to your mean. That's what all of these indicators do. Push you away, bring you back. Break up and get back together. Break up to make up. That's what we got happening in here. But this is definitely setting up to turn the signals on in here. We'll take a look at those. For how I have it set. So the mean estimate, the extreme volatility one is right here. But you don't really need these signals. You just use the indicator itself. Really just use the indicator. But I like the signals. So it's still sitting here at the center point, which means it has the potential to come up and reject right there. But if it doesn't, it's going to be a strong move. The fast one, we're slapping on it right now as we are continuing to hold this value area low. Now, if we can just get that follow through, if we can just get that follow through for this leg down, man, um, then great. I feel like I just need that one more drop for Bitcoin. And then, of course, the the magic one is sitting right here, so close, so close. It's so close. When I common sense, just common sense. When I look at all of that, and I look at USDT dominance, and I look at the pattern formation, and I look at the higher time frames, and I put everything together, it's basically what I'm saying to you that we would likely expect if we would likely expect with one more move down, but if we don't get it, we don't get it. This is going to break to the upside. Everything about it suggests a break to the upside. That's how I feel. We're hanging around the mean in here. If we're just looking at RSI, we're hanging so close to our mean. We're underneath it for sure, yes. But we're hanging so close to the mean. Like we're not moving away from anything. We're staying so close to it. Even if I extend it out in time, we're still sitting really close to it. And I was looking at, I was looking at this 35 in here on the daily time frame. I've seen how many times this 35 has held as a beast, and it really has, and we're above that 35. But I have noticed how many times this 35 has really been on point with holding price action until you lose the 35. I was just paying attention to that, yesterday. I was like, "God dang." But this 35, right, 35 all down through here, captured these lows until we came up to that, downsloping trend line right here, which is calling our tops. Again, the downsloping trend line right here is calling tops, unless we put in some sort of a bear div like we did right there, it is calling your tops. You have this downsloping if you wanna add this to your chart on your RSI. Very simple. At some point, it will break it, but if you wanted to add this to your chart, it's this one right here. It's, that high is from November 11th, 2024. That thing since 2024 has been calling every top unless it got some bear deal. That's from 2024. How about that crap, man? How about that? A whole year later and some change, that line has been calling tops. I mean, you can draw a line on your in, um, price action too, but just a little confluence there. But yeah, got this one right here. Got this one right here. Like I said, unless it put in a bear diff, and it had to do a bear diff. But it's been that's when you really know. That's when you really know the shit crap out of this dang on thing. Like I said, this 35 has been pretty significant. Now I like when it actually breaks below it and comes back above it. I really like those moments right there. I was just admiring that 35 last night. And we're above that 35, so if we drop into it, we'll probably line up with something in here. I don't really care. If we drop into it, I'm gonna be looking to see what we looking like. But pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet to notice all that. So, um, and then the basic strategy if it does that. So, but yeah, that's the daily. It's trying to curve out or do something in here. And like I said, the longer we stay here, the more likely we are to pop. I love to see that sweep down here. I love to see the sweep down here, and I keep saying it because I know how significant it is. We've called a bunch of sweeps that have actually worked out in our favor. Most of them have. I can't say too many times that it didn't. Most of them have worked out in our favor. This one is significant. This one, this particular one right here. It it's not so much to focus on this one right here. It's not so much to focus on this lower one down here, which is the lower of our range for that mother bar, but it is the liquidity that sits at the body of this candle right here. So just when I say the body, I'm talking about the line. So it's this right here, along with these two right here. That's the magical liquidity right here. If we just get that, then we out of this thing, in my opinion. In my opinion. It's like we knew, uh, yesterday we knew that it was this liquidity, not this wick, but it was just this. Because most money is not going to enter on the wick. Most money is gonna enter after the wick. It was this right here. This brought a lot of uncertainty, but money definitely stepped in right there, so we knew if we could get that, and then some other stuff lined up too, but if we could just get that, then we would get that pop, and we didn't wait for the SFP, we set it up to be in on the wick like big money would do it. We do that every now and then, not too often. We're still holding we're still holding constructively right now. This is so irritating me. Um, so if we were to come through and basically in here, let me take this away. Actually, let me just hide my indicators for a sec. Alright, so we know we were basically looking at this low in here, um, here yesterday. And if we're coming up, things are gonna be different for me, in terms of what's actually happening here structurally. So, it would be these lows in here with the golden pocket. That should be some pretty strong resistance. But right now, we're not strong enough for our RSI to get to those levels. We can continue to hold and creep our way up there for sure, but we're not just gonna be blasting up there. The idea too was that we would not come back above our prior day low, which was sitting, I think this was the prior day low right here before. That was the prior day low, and so the idea is that we wouldn't come back above that prior day low, which is why this ended up being a good idea, because normally we're looking for a golden pocket 786 back test, but to stay below the prior day low, that's different now, but, it's down here now. Started working on a new indicator yesterday. I actually worked on a couple, um, new indicators. It just makes it easier for me, um, to see things. Alright. Come on, Bitcoin. Come on, Bitcoin. It's pretty decent right now. It's pretty good right now. But it's gonna be slow because, for the manipulation. I don't know what we're trying to work out in here structurally. Could matter for later on. Could. But anyway, I started working on, I started working on this indicator right here, which is, it gives me some more insight into my RSI, basically. And it takes into account, the RSI as well as price action. Um, just combines it together. So the little white line, the oscillator right there. Uh, I just did this yesterday, so I'm just trying to figure out like how beneficial it's gonna be. I'm really just looking at 2 things in it, basically, where I see a red box or when I see a green one. That's it. That's basically it. So I was combing back through it yesterday, um, and of course, Imma find a way to make this work in terms of I guess a wave, 5 wave or something like that, maybe even 3. We'll see. Not trading, based off of it, but, um, so far, at least from the 15-minute perspective, it starts to show me where exhaustion could be kicking in at, or the heat is maybe picking up or where it's probably getting ready to end. For me, I'm leaning more towards the vibes of something coming to an end, maybe, um, which you can find off of any of these in here, but it did kinda line up a little bit, and then over here, like right in here. So it starts to show me like this was an aggravating short. I remember sitting in the short right here, which didn't go all the way. It doesn't account for the bearish divergence, but it lets me know where participation is declining. And you want to short the crap out of it or long the crap out of it, but participation was declining the entire time. Then led us to this big drop, which, I did take a short there and I did take a short here. And actually since I added to my short initially, that moved my short position down. And then once I got stopped out of that, I had to enter this one and then enter that one. So I no longer hold the short from up here, just so you know. And then it did uh, this stuff over here because I remember they kept squeezing price up over here, but once again it was showing me the declining factor in here, or that it was still extensive in here. And I mean, and we saw the bear divs in here. So like I said, it's just something I'm working on to pair with my RSI, but I don't know how long I'll use it or if I'll make it a consistent use. Just then it showed me over here possible ending or something like that. So like I said, I won't be waiting for these confirmations or anything like that on it. I can get faster signals, but I just want to see like what's really happening in here. So it seems to be okay. Seems to be okay. Um, in here, it did it right here too, but um, the other reading would be this line right here. But like I said, I'm really just trying to focus on these little shadings in here more than anything. And I can share these if you have a TradingView account. I can share these if you're interested. Um, but then there was that, and then there's this in here. But you can see how they squeezed us up higher, 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 and that's where something like this comes into play, or your RSI, something like that, because that's we're getting the squeeze. You can see where we're maintaining above our mean. I'm about to tell y'all all the secrets right now. I'm about to. It's getting close to slipping out my mouth. I don't know how to keep something to myself. I don't know how to. Again, right in here. I just don't know how to. But it's just a 15-minute time frame. I looked at it on a daily. I didn't like it. I didn't like it on a daily time frame. It might be something that only works on a lower time frame, but I will continue to assess how it's going, how it works out. But yeah, I mean, so far it's not shabby. It's not shabby. And again, like I said, I can share it on TradingView where you can use it if you want to. Let me finish learning how it's gonna work out, then that way I can explain it or something like that. And then you could use it in a way to not trade signals on it or anything like that, but to start to identify where you could be coming to. It's just a helpful tool. That's all. Just a helpful tool. Whatever you fancy. I like to see a red over here. I like that. I like that. Let's see if we can keep this going. Oh, and two more I did, but one is just just BS. It depends. I have to tell you like why that matters, but you saw the color background, which is nothing. Anybody can do that. Um, that indicator over there is just a color background. It's basically just mean reversion. That's all that is. It's just mean reversion. Nothing like daddy price action though. Price action is king. Price action is king until you can't see divergence. But price action is king. Let's see what we're tapping on here. Probably some sort of a golden pocket or something like that. I swear, people, please let price just come down. Just let it come down. Jeez, how hard is it to get a better entry? If you want to go long, unless these are just scalpers that keep propping up price, want to go long, just let it come down some more. God dang. They be frustrating the crap out of me. That's how it was last night. The coin king was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, God dang it, freaking Asian session. I wish they'd just let this price roll over. I'm trying to short, and we sitting over here doing this mess. Just let it come down. Crap." Oh my gosh, trading would stress you the f out. Jeez. Let it come down. Why are you holding on to it? It's like losing your hair. It's like losing your hair and you're still trying to hang on to it. But I understand the feeling. I understand the feeling. Just shave it. Why are you doing a comb over? Just get rid of it. Like, jeez. Mm-mm. Speaking of hair, I need to do something with my own hair. us, but I'm really hoping that we can break that. Let me just do a measure. There was no liquidity, not necessarily a liquidity grab in here. So let me just measure out if this were to be a double top, which I mean right now, um, why is that looking like that? Did I do something yesterday? I did. Let's go to base. I mean, that would be nice. Can't say it happens, but that would be nice if it was a double top and we broke the neckline and we were anticipating the measure move. It would put us down here just above this liquidity right here, and then we could take that liquidity right there, and I mean, that would be nice. But here we go with the shenanigans. People, let it go. Just let it go. Yeah, we're resetting pretty fast. I can see that. So we're looking to come back up our mean, get back up above our mean. We're looking at 66,826 right now. 66,826 put us back above our mean. Uh, doesn't look like it would be the most successful, but I cannot say. I did notice like slight bear div on the 1 hour time frame. It was very slight. And again, like I said, the 1 hour does have some has a bearish undertone, but we're not getting follow through on any of that. 4 hour RSI could have like a head and shoulders on it. Um, if that plays out, but we're not getting follow through on that. Not yet. Um, there's just really no strength right now in either direction. Come on, bidding. We broke some, this little trend line right here, which I'm gonna delete this off of the chart, but we did break above this little trend line right here. Uh, right through here. Broke with that. But it's just some more noise on the charts. I'm just gonna go ahead and drop that. We did get above that last night with that golden pocket bounce. I wish I'd have taken that trade too, but I was tired. Really tired. And so, we may not be um, weak enough to get this low. We may not be. I was thinking that yesterday too, but we did it. I don't know if we're weak enough to. I mean, that wouldn't be low. That's, just around the 30, but I don't know. So this is making sense with that low right there. It's making sense with it, but I'm just tired of it. Please, just it's making sense. I just. If you're looking to scalp, it's a great scalp. But I'm looking for continuation down. Um, and hopefully we get it. Oh, Bitcoin is so boring. Mm. What else is happening? I know yesterday we were looking at what window pane was I using yesterday? Um, I'll figure that out in just a second. Again, nothing's changed in here either. Resistance, support, and continue to be that within this little range right here for USDT dominance right here, support and resistance, at least until we can see this breakdown of this typically bearish formation. But yeah, I guess it's time. It's time, time and when that will happen. I don't know. This makes me not want to trade. I just want fast moves. I'm just sick and tired of this sideways stuff. Anyway, while Bitcoin is getting this reaction off of this golden pocket, while it's getting this reaction right here, um, with a little bit of, I mean, I don't like it, but each his own. Let's see. I think I was using please Miss Daily Pain last night. It may have been. I can tell you in a second. What was it that we looked at yesterday? Um, I know we looked at hype. I know we looked at Zcash. I know we looked at Sui. I know we looked at XRP. It was something that I set this buy order on. This bullish divergence right here on this daily for hyperliquid um, could get you something, but I don't think it'll get you too far. In the short, if it comes back up, probably would be the solution. But it does have bullish divergence right now. And we can see that without drawing a line on here. We can see that. Why do I have expand? This is some old data. I don't think I was on this chart right here yesterday. Not when I say chart, I mean pane. I wasn't on this pane yesterday. Let's see here. No, I wasn't. I wasn't using this window pane yesterday, but it does have had a little squeeze in here, a little bearish squeeze in here. Took some time to play out. A lot of the time, these squeezes are only work if price is recovering above or below the 20. Because this was a squeeze through here, where for a long time we're seeing a squeeze, and it didn't play out until it got above the 20 SMA, and in this case, it dropped below the 20 SMA. Um, through here, and start showing that price action is compressing, and so you want to see it break above the 20. Doesn't actually tell you how far it's going to go. That's where other stuff comes into play, and then you can see how it didn't manage to deviate far from the 20 before rolling back down right there. You see that? It's usually never that late, and again, it showed that we had a squeeze right here that didn't play out fully until it got below here. But it's already putting in bullish divvies. It's probably sitting on a standard deviation. Yeah, I know this stuff is old. At some point, we was looking at some stuff in here. Okay, yeah, I know this stuff is old. Man, what was this stuff? I don't know what all of this stuff is. I didn't think I could see it either, whatever it is. Anyway, I know that Bitcoin bounce is irritating me. But yeah, this color thing is just mean reversion. That's it. That's why it looks green there and red there, and it looks like it's doing something, but it's just simply a mean reversion. This isn't the window pane. I wanted to get to the window pane I was using yesterday so I can um, look back at something that I was interested in. Yeah, if we keep holding this, we're gonna pop up and out of this thing right here, this little wedge structure, because we keep holding. I'd like to see us sit down. And it's almost like an inverse. I like it. Not right now. I do want to get another test down here. I do want to get this liquidity. I think it's awesome fuel. Awesome fuel right here. Below the 62. So below here, it's awesome fuel. I would like to go along right here. I'm gonna set this like I would set it if I was taking a trade because I know dang on well. You'll see people do this. They give you a trade set up. It'll have a big stop like this. Nobody can sit it. I mean, some people will. They got that kind of money. I ain't got that kind of money to sit here and hold something like that and let it go against me like that. I might do a one, depending on how large my size is, which is never gonna be that much. My stop loss is not about to be that dang on much. 50, cool. I'll do 50. I'm not doing more than that. And I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and act like I'm gonna sit here and hold a trade through 50, 100. Sometimes I be eyed the same way before it even do anything like that too. Like my stop is not gonna be that much. It's just not. But it does look like that. I will bring it down. Yeah, I would like this. Then I think we'll take that and maybe even swipe this top right here. So actually be looking for us to take that opportunity. Like that. That's a beautiful trade. Yep, that's a beautiful trade. Make it beautiful. You haven't taken a lot of liquidity off the daily. No, can't get it to be where I want it to be. Good with that. If you get that, it'd be great. 61,996.69. All I really had was like two. Anybody who did take a scalp on that, I would be locking in the profits off of it. Um, locking in something, but it's Mm, might stop happening, but, um, yeah, might stop happening. I don't have a long position right now. I closed this out early. So yesterday I closed it out. Yeah, so I closed it out early. I should have taken this last night to at least have to have a long position. I don't have one. I'm liking this right now. Let me just say I'm being biased in my decision making. It was legitimate. Either it's a scout or it takes out this liquid, you know? And I said this other day, Bitcoin continuously is hammering away at highs like it. I mean, obviously, that just seems like the intended direction, which overall, I do have a stronger bias to the upside. But right now, I just feel like I'm gonna really and then pop up, but might not get it. I'm gonna be stuck waiting to figure out where I'm gonna take a loan from at that case, in that point, at that point. So, this the weekend. Weekend, this could set us up for a drop. I wish it would. Wish it would. This could set us up for a drop. It's just no time like now to sit there. This is flat. That is flat. Um, set us up for a drop. That would be great. I have to trust this courage. I know why I did that. I'm not saying that that's what's about to happen. I'm just saying that it could set us up for a drop. and I do this so I can go back and study. As long as we stay in this condition right here, it could actually set us up for a nice move further down. If it doesn't do that, then the rocket ship to the upside. That's the other thing it could be, the rocket ship to the upside. Yeah, we could, yeah, it could be that too. And that's another stuff I gotta study, but that's my bias. Since we're coming from the top, since we're coming from the top, it could more than that. If it's coming from the bottom, we probably would lean more heavily on that. We're coming from the top, so we just want price to come down. Just confirm. So I'm gonna set it to the side. That's what I'm looking for though. I'm looking for it to go down, but it did come from the top. Let's see if we have anything today, even though it's Friday. Anybody be talking about anything? Nope, no one's talking about anything. But we do have unemployment rate, non-farm employment change, and average hourly earnings month over month. Today, 30. No, traditional markets are not open today, so we will not be waiting for any sort of volatility for the market at opening. 8 o'clock, the stream will end, and I'd like to go ahead and just say thank you for joining me today. Just wanted to make sure that if you were here yesterday, that you paid attention to the setup that we were looking for, and the reason why we were looking for it is because we had no expectation of price coming back above the prior day low, which at the time yesterday it was here. Now the prior day low is down here, so we do want to break below our prior day low to fill in if this is going to be another additional wave. If this is a wave 4, and then we're looking for a wave 5 on this is like a 1 hour time frame. So this was 15-minute structure yesterday. This was the only thing that I could identify. I'm not an Elliotician, but I can identify basic Elliott wave patterns. I don't do the guesswork. I don't do guesswork in Elliott wave. It has to be something that's clear to me. And if it's not like in my face, I don't even bother to talk about it. I have other things that I can use instead of sitting here being confused about something. Just rather look at other indicators, look at indicators or other things in the structure aside from Elliott wave. So let me just say that. I had somebody ask me about Elliott wave, and it's like I'm not. There are some channels out there that do that for and really really good, really really good. I aspire to continue learning, but like I said, if it's not in my face, I'm not even worrying about it. It has to be clear to me. I'm not doing guesswork on Elliott wave. I see it, I'll say it. I don't see it, I'm not dealing with it. Like I was saying yesterday, that this right here was likely, high probability that there was an ending, that this was something ending in the 5 wave, and we had to keep messing with it because initially when we came on stream, it was sitting right here, and I was like, nah, I don't like that. I don't like that. And of course, down, down, down. So another thing that I know how to look at with something like this right here is how it's ended our, how we putting in bullish divergence or something like that, because you tend to put in bull dips at the end of a wave. At 4 and 5, you tend to put in some sort of divergence, and we have bull dips down here on the indicator. We had the bullish divergence down here as we were getting the drop in right here. So with the squeeze right across here, that would have indicated that, and I waited on this liquidity down here to be taken. But if I can't see it, then I don't talk about it. And right now, I don't see anything in here except for the potential for a double top formation. And if this is a larger wave, if I zoom out to a higher time frame, then I'm looking for another move down. That's it. That's all I know right now. But um, there are indicators on TradingView that may help you identify Elliott wave stuff. And I know that. Let me just try to pull out this stuff. So there are indicators out there. And TradingView has their own. So you got Luxalgo has one. And like I said, TradingView has one as well. I think there are some other ones in here as well. So there are indicators in here that will do like basic Elliott wave stuff for you. You see nothing showed up in here, um, but over here it says trading views, and they counted the blue. This blue right here is trading views, so they counted a 5 wave move to the outside right here. It's like flat right here, so you can click on those, and they're helpful. And then this right here is I have brain fog. This is looks algo. This looks algo. And if it doesn't match up with whatever coding they put in on it, then they don't use it. I think that this part right here is looks algo. I'm not sure. I know that this dark blue stuff right here, this is trading view. Trading views other indicator. And then looks algo does something where they put these boxes in here. I don't really know. You have to go in and read it. Back in the days, I did read something on it, like being like a validation form or something like that, but I can't explain it to you. They do explain it to you how to use this indicator. I don't know what these circles. I don't know what any of that stuff is. I think this is an invalidation point or something. I don't know. I don't know, but useful, but um, I would not have looked at this and said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would not have, and I still don't look at it and see that. So, but they have indicators that do something like that. And again, that's okay. So that was that's you need something like that. If that's how you like to trade, this looks algo right there. Other way looks algo 15.6K. Uh, People locking in on that indicator, and Trading Views doesn't tell you how many. And then you have Lazy Bear that does like an Elliott wave. This is one that goes into your pain. This isn't something that go on your chart. I really don't know how Lazy Bear used. I'm sure Lazy Bear explains this. I love Lazy Bear stuff. I haven't used any of this stuff in a while. I tend to work on my own stuff, but somehow this is supposed to, I don't know, uh, give you some sort of account or something like that. I don't know how to use it, so I don't use it. But there is stuff out there. I'm just gonna check my line to make sure I do it as close to reality as possible. Earlier this morning, I was looking at this and I was like, please don't be in an ascending triangle. You know what? I love ascending triangles. I love descending triangles. I just don't want one right now because I want price action to roll over. Uh, but those are good trading. Those are good patterns. An ascending and a descending triangle is a good pattern. You have to make sure that that's what you really have. But that is a good pattern. That tells you that participants, if it's an ascending triangle, that participants are willing to pay a premium to buy in. So you see that one, that one's good. You see a descending, you'll identify that sellers are willing to sell at at losses. They're willing to sell at losses just to exit. So those two patterns right there, which is one and the same, they tend to play out really nice. I don't have a flat top, so I can see that there is no flat top in here. Could have been Asia. Yeah, we're really not going anywhere but sideways. We're staying relatively close to again. We're staying relatively close to the mean, which means that we're just sideways price action, and nothing more than that. It's going to be a very, very, very boring day, obviously. Let me try this chart right here. Let me see. Let's see. Okay. I'm still popping in Bitcoin. I was trying to find that AVAX chart from yesterday. I wanted to tell you guys something. I was trying to find the one that I was using yesterday. I can find that. Because AVAX is going to be worth buying. And I can give you some numbers if you want to be more conservative. Because, um, like I was saying to you yesterday, if price was to continue the trend to the downside, then you would have to, you have to take a little bit of a hit. I could have sworn, I know I got it in here somewhere, and I know I said it as study. not doing something that I don't have open right now. So, try yeah, yeah. Let me set it up and then I'll take a look at it. Um, while Bitcoin is getting at the move there. Stuff that messed up. My computer did that reset thing again um, last night, even though I went in and told it not to. Got to get rid of it because anytime, anytime your PC is telling you what it's gonna do instead of doing what you've asked it to do, it's a problem. I don't know what they're doing with tech, but that I said don't mess with my computer, and it said, yeah, you need this update. Don't tell me what I need. And then, of course, it deletes stuff or changes my settings, and I hate it. I need to get rid of this PC. Because none of my commands are working. This is what I was going to tell you about AVAX here. All right, because I know we were talking about this right here being an accumulation zone. And then at the low down there, I could tell that AVAX was setting up for a squeeze. I don't actually have that indicator in over here. Um, tell you what, hold on, let me finish setting something up over here. And then we'll bring you back to it. A little privacy right here. Mm, right. All right. So on this AVAX, right, we're talking about the potential of buying AVAX here. It's at accumulation zone right here, where it has bounced up every time, basically. It had to squeeze down here at this level in the past, right here. You see those green bars right there. Now look right here, this is the indicator that we were using right here. This is what identifies the squeeze right here. So you can see the squeeze right there. We talked about the squeeze that was over here, and you can see how long that squeeze happened with that falling wedge or this ending move down right here, five-way move down possibly right here. Then it probably got extended a little bit more right here. And so this squeeze right here actually broke price up right there. And then we had the squeeze right here, but this one didn't actually touch the line, and neither did that one. But you can see right here, once again, we're squeezing, and we're squeezing from none other than this bounce zone, this historical bounce level right here for AVAX. Now, I did explain to you that there is the possibility of this absolutely rolling over and probably coming down here to this point right here. That's just the reality of, us not having control over the market. And if they choose to do that, that can happen, right? You see how close that orange line is to price action? If you want it to be conservative and you did not want to take the risk from where it is, which, being conservative or taking a risk from where it is, neither one of those really matter because you don't know what's going to happen. But you see how relatively close price action has come to it. You could wait for price action to close above that $10.30. It's at $8.94 right now, so it's, a dollar and some change off for your entry. You could wait for that to happen. So the closure above, and you don't know how that candle is gonna come out. You don't know if that candle is gonna pop above right here and close up here, and then you don't get that much of a move left, but you did. I like this. I like it from where it is. But again, if you want it to be conservative, you could simply wait for it to get above here. These are starting to get a little closer, and I'm really paying attention to the green and the orange. Those two are really starting to get closer. And this is, I mean, it's a weekly time frame, so the 7 is still a good one to use. But at the end of the day, you want price to be trading above here. You want price to flip that 13.25. Because from there, that's where you really start to get your strong move from. If you flip that 13.25, but I think that it is a good buy. I honestly think that it is a good buy. Now you can zoom out on a lower time frame to try to find a better entry than where it is right now, showing on the weekly time frame, because that candle right there, the low is 855. I mean, you're some change off. I mean, it just depends on what your greed level is. You're some change off, but I like it, and I think that I think it's going to be a strong little buy. We talked about the fact that it likely would, how much it probably would give in this case. Um, when we were studying it, we talked about how much it probably would give, and that it would probably just do something like this, 50 to the golden pocket, something like that. Maybe even the 786, but we can see over here it only did a 50% retracement. If we were looking at it getting back to the top side of this trend line right here, if this trend line continued to hold, then we would be looking back at this 50% retracement. So it's a nice little piece from there, even if you did like a 2x leverage, a 1x, like if you did a 1x leverage, like doubled. I mean, I don't know, is 1x a thing? I don't know. But if you just doubled on what you put into it, you know, it's still a nice play from where it is sitting right now for a long. And if for some reason AVAX just decided, you know what, I'm leaving this range right here. I'm leaving this pie. I don't want pie no more. Whoever said that. Um, but I don't want this anymore. Like I don't like pineapple on my pizza. I'm done with that pizza. I'm not eating that. and pops out of here, then it could go much higher. And this would be the measured move, which was taken from touch points. I can only do it from where I have a touch, and I think I did it from this one right here. So top and bottom has to touch, and then I'll draw the line using that information. So that's what that was drawn from. So it's pretty decent for price action to get back into what these lows right in here, to get back into these lows between here and here. This would be this would be our resistance point. And that's I mean, we can stretch this up. We can stretch this up to this point right here. So basically, I just wanna make sure that I'm capturing actually, I like this one better because that's actually where that swing started from here. This swing that pushed price up started from this point right here. So, yeah, from here to here, that would be our resistance point. You can toss it up, if you wanted to, push it, into here. This was one of those instances where it never came back to the golden pocket, and that golden pocket is still legit. It never when it came close to tapping it, it never tapped it. So maybe it does that, but right now I'm just looking at this measured move for what it is, and I think it all starts from right here. I do. I think it all starts from right here. Or if you're already invested in AVAX, you got something to look forward to. We looked at timing between these lows in here, and that's what the yellow lines are in here for. We was looking at timing, and you can see right here, that was like 47 bars, 329 days, 42 bars, 294 days from there to there for, this push up into the 50% retracement, and then right now, we're 39 bars in 273 days off the weekly time frame, um, and so that's starting from my birthday, starting from my birthday. Oh, that's interesting. That was the 30th right there. It was a Monday. Well, of course, it's gonna be Monday, this stupid girl. No, I'm not stupid. 30, that was the 30th right there, and this is the 30th right here. That's nice. These 2 were uh, around the first 2 weeks of, the month, October, September. But anyway, we haven't had a 2026 pop yet, if that makes sense. We haven't had a pop in 2026. And again, it's squeezing from the same area. I don't know if it's just coincidences or what it is, but it's squeezing from the same area again. This 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 low. I'm not gonna make a video on this because anytime I make a this is a video. This is the video. Right now is the video. I've done some videos on some coins and nobody came in to watch it, and I gave you all the alpha for the best wins. These were weekly plays for the best win. If you watched my Stewie video, you would have been making hella bank on that short. All the way down to where we're sitting in change. You would have made hella bank if you watched my Stewie video. You would have made hella bank if you watched my pay video back last year or whatever it was. And I said, this thing is about to reverse. And pay went on the run of its life. You would have made hella bank had you watched that. You would have made hella bank if you'd have watched my meta video. You'd have made hella bank if you'd have watched I did a couple of other stock ones. You made hella banks on those, but nobody shows up for it. Free content. And if I'm failing you, if I'm consistently failing you, then I can see you not coming in. But if I'm not, I don't care how many dollars I make or don't make on it. If I give you the alpha and my alpha has been on point, then it's worth watching. I mean, I do it because I love it and I want to see everybody win. But I think that this could be good. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Let me throw that out there. 'Cause we can't always be right. But if I'm looking at this and it's like, is it worth the risk? It is. At least we did it when it mattered the most. I took a chance on a high probability. This isn't a low probability setup. It's a high probability setup. But high probability setups can fail, but it is a high probability setup. So I've seen where some people were shorting this, trying to short it at least. I don't know what time frame they're looking at. They're not looking at it from this time frame. They're not looking at it from a weekly perspective. And I know AVAX hasn't done a lot, but where it's sitting at right now, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with Bitcoin. I don't know. Let me add this in here. I don't know. But like I said, squeezing, squeezing, no squeeze right here. But I'll be dang it. Didn't it pop from here too? And then you can see I'm talking about right here. That orange line right there, if you want to be conservative, that orange and that green line right there, you getting above those. Now, this right here was like to get above this one right here, that's long term. That red one, that's long term. And see, the thing about it is when you deviate away from your mean, you're at least going to reverse back into it. You're going to come back to that mean, unless you just some trash project. But when you deviate from it, you're looking to at least come back into it. Now, this hasn't actually tapped this orange line just yet, but it's likely going to come back into it. And this is the main one right here, the green again. The green is the main one. It's going to come back into it. I don't care what it does, it's going to come back. It's going to at least come back into this one. It's going to at least come back into it, especially when it's closer. So that just shows you how far you are from a mean reversion. This was your distance over here from your mean. You didn't have a reason to want to touch it through here because it was so far away from it. So even when it did revert back to the mean, which is the green line right here, it rejected initially. But then you can see how the mean and this first, like if you changed your settings and you wanted a faster setting, that's why that yellow one is there. If you adjusted your setting and you wanted a faster response, that would be your faster response right there. That orange one. That orange one would be your faster response right there. They started to come closer together. Beautiful. And then you break up. You're not waiting for a cross of the yellow and green. You're not waiting for that. You're waiting for price action to go back to it. And that is a teaching moment right there. You're not waiting for a cross. If you're waiting for a cross of those two, now there is information inside of a cross, but you're not waiting for that. You're waiting for price action to return to the mean. AVAX is away from that mean. AVAX is going to return to that mean. And that's another thing, that new indicator that I was showing you that I did, that's another thing that is highlighting. How deviated you are from that mean. So it's gonna do that. That's all I'm saying to you. I'll talk about it again the next time I do a video because it's worth it. I could have sworn I had some other stuff in here too. I know that we were looking at this right here, like where do we tend to drop to? It lines up. It lines up. It lines up. We tend to drop back into here. Like it lines up. I didn't have This was one of the largest swings. There's not enough information in here for me to go back to. I can probably find this on another chart that's not mixy and gather up more information. So I will do that before I talk about it again. I will do that. Squeezing. Pop. It's here, baby. It's here. That's all I'm saying. It's here. Do with that information what you will. Let's get back over to here, Bitcoin with the shenanigans. At some point, I'm not going to have a choice but to take a loan. I really should have at least taken this one since I closed this one up last night. I should have at least taken this one. Well, not last night, but yesterday. Yesterday when we were trading. I didn't feel like it. I really didn't feel like it. But anyway, um, at some point, I'm not going to have a choice because I do anticipate if we continue to hold sideways, we're just going to break to the upside and not get that downside move. So it's good to be hedged right now. It's good to be hedged. But I know me in this moment, I probably would have closed it out anyway in this moment. And I didn't take this because it's too close to my short, which is this. Like I said, I had to re-enter. I had to re-enter it because I, I, I missed where we tapped the liquidity. I missed what we did sweep. And so I got in off of this reactionary candle right here, and my stop loss was at break even, and it came back and stopped me out. So I had to re-enter, and now it's trying to come back and stop me out again because my stop is sitting there. Oh boy. With there being low liquidity, this thing it can shoot up if it wants to, but it doesn't make sense to me, not in here, for us to be that extended. We don't have that sort of strength display. Like we're not, we don't have that kind of power. that is supposed to be a resistance point right here. I'm not saying it's a resistance point just because it's it's a moving average sitting there because you can break through those. That's the whole point. Break through those. That's not the information. Um, but like if we're going to remain neutral, then somewhere right in here would be as high as we would go. Otherwise, we would come up. We could take out this top right here. But again, we're not in a state of euphoria right here. We're just not, in my in a state of euphoria to do stuff like this. But if they choose to, it's the weekend. It can be done. So I guess that was correct to say since it came from the top down like this, and it was holding on to the mean down here, then we would look for it to do that instead. So it would have been a rocket. That would have been my rocket. Say price could explode, but we're not in that euphoric state right now. And then if it came from the other direction, it came from the bottom. Let me find a good example. I don't see one in here. Let me delete that. Started from the bottom. Now we're here. Here. No, 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 no. That's not correct. That's not how I want to see it. I got a rocket in here. I got a bomb in here somewhere too. I don't think that bomb played out the way I wanted it to. I have to find something on a different time frame. I would use this, but it's something else I'm looking for. It's something that I've seen in this chart. Well, yeah, here's a good example. Here's a good example right here. This was continuation right here. So right here, our mean came up, did a mean reversion and a mean rejection. Then I would have put my bomb over this right here. This doesn't happen often, so I've learned to identify it right now. So when it's doing the mean reversion and these two indicators agree because they don't typically um, agree with each other. This came from the low, but it didn't come from low enough. I would have liked to have seen it come from lower and come up. So something a little bit more bearish. I can't see it right here. But if it's maybe we've seen this plenty. We've seen this plenty. Continuation stuff like this right here. Um, but I guess that anyway, I have to explain it later. But um, I'll come back and do this stuff later. I hope this resistance holds. Um, and I did lock in I locked in the fees for taking the trade. So if I get stopped out and I don't lose anything, I just have to re-enter if it, you know, I just have to re-enter if everything weighs in here. Showing a little bit more strength to the upside, but still pretty flat for the most part. So nothing, we're just basically generally, like I said, we're just staying somewhere in here, somewhere close to the mean, not deviating from it. And when we did deviate, we put in bullish divergence against this low over here. So it made sense to take the golden pocket, bounce to the upside, which I did not participate in because I was tired and I didn't want to take another trade. So the more trading you do, the more risky. I just I was in the short. I just figured it'd come back a little bit, maybe, and then continue down, but that didn't happen. I got stopped out instead. Um, that was good. And over here, like I said, it made sense, but it just wasn't the trade that I wanted to take. That we were not. And I really want to look at where the strong bounces come from. I like these pivots like this. That's why I'm sitting here focusing on this one. At some point, it could come back down here towards this right here. If the market has strength right there, then they'll try to find strength there. So that's why I was focusing more on that. Like I said, that golden pocket tap right there did line up with getting the bounce from there. Um, just not my sauce, not the sauce for me today. Not today, not right now. This fair div was only slight here. Let me make sure that that was what we got. Yeah, so we got a slight fair div right here because we went higher. Now, like I said, that would have been this top right here, this peak right here. We put in the bear div. At that moment, we put in that bear div and that push up. RSI was, just slightly above six or around 65. We'll say it was about 65 right there. That's decent. Um, Not extremely bullish, not, not no crazy number like 75 or 80 or anything like that. Not even 70. Um, to tell a lie like we're strong right now when the rest of the time frames are bearish. But it was enough for me to be like, yeah, we're not strong enough on the higher time frames to even be sitting like that. So like I said, we entered the short based on that. How we're doing it now. I'll be looking at this peak. We're looking at this peak. So that means my RSI is going to get somewhere into about a 70. And I don't see that show of strength on my higher time frames. If the market was, if I could guarantee, if I could say with a guarantee that the market was bullish, then I wouldn't mess with it. I leave it alone. I would just leave it alone. I wouldn't try to short it, but it's not right now. So I'm gonna keep trying to short it if it wants to keep acting up. I'm gonna go ahead and put some money into that. I said I was considering it yesterday. I don't have a reason to actually make friends and not do, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Mm, mm, seeing that silver had absolutely no silver isn't looking damn. Bought me a little bit. Mm, let's see if it'll come down. It's not gonna add to that. I'll keep it going. It's been many years since I believed in AVAX. Many years. First time I didn't know anything about the project. I wasn't doing any analysis or anything like that on it. I just looked at it and just liked it. I haven't liked it in a long time. But the first time I did like AVAX, I turned $500 into $10,000. And it felt like it was overnight. And then I gave it all to Terra Luna. Speaking of crappy projects, what's Dot been looking like? I had hopes in Dot for a second the last time. Haven't looked at that in a minute. Let me take a look at it. It's down here with the oh baby, oh baby. I messed with it for a little bit. And everybody gonna be back into the old projects. Everybody's gonna be trying to get back into these old projects. Now Dot, I'm not gonna just buy. It's $1.25. You kidding me? This is $1.25. For $1.25. I mean, it can continue to roll over. That's for dang sure. It'd be nice if all of this was pinching together. Like if it was tight like this, like all of this was pinching together. That would be nice. This one I just can't do. I don't wanna do this one. It's squeezing too. Uh, it has successfully. Maybe I'll wait for a closure above 156 since it has to squeeze. When it does release, at least in the past, when it got the squeeze in the past and it did get the closure above here, it got some sort of a continuation. But this was had a nice spread on it, so it was likely to see some sort of a rejection, I suppose. But again, just have to know when to let it go. Again, right here, it got the closure above right there, and it followed behind the squeeze, and then it got the closure above right here, following behind the squeeze. So right here, if it gets the closure above here, then I'll bite. I know that if that happens, I might want to secure some profits right here at the 208. Right now, that's what it is. So if it does close above here, and hopefully it's not, some blastful candle, then I know that I want to secure some profits right here. Because right here could be a rejection point. It could choose to reject there. But if it doesn't, then be happy with that. But it could reject just like over here. Got above here, got the closure above here, pushed into uh, the mean and got a mean rejection. So this time it didn't reject, which was great. This time it didn't reject. That was great. Um, if it does something like this where it automatically closes above both of these, then I can still take the entry, but my stop would be relatively tight to not losing any of my money. So it'd be relatively tight. And here I would do this on spot since, you know, it's affordable. It's affordable carrot. But this one, I'll just wait until it gets above 156, which is what it is at the moment. So I would just say 157. So if it closes above 157, then I have interest in it. I don't need to buy this low because this low could keep going for dots. And in fact, let's see what I have in here. No, those are my picks. Recession, cyclical, hedges, economy stuff. Let's see what I have in here. Got some possible trade stuff in here. Delete, delete river, delete Pippin, delete useless, sustain rows. This was stuff that I was interested in trading at the moment. Back then, I'm gonna delete all of it. Nothing in this watch list. I'm gonna add this to it. Add that to it. Then I'll go in and I'll add my notes for dots later. I'm going to add past it. I'm gonna add AVAX to this list. I can take out this economy. Pay attention to it. I'm not gonna put attention to it. I'm gonna dot and AVAX here. And speaking of, looking at my screen, something nice support level. Nice support level. Look at resistances there. I'm still trying to be a bully. This is what we were talking about yesterday. Sometimes you'll get a head and shoulder, and it's not. And this one, mm, I don't know. Doesn't seem doable in my opinion. Uh, but this is one of those situations right here. And first of all, it was pretty far away from it. It was pretty far away from it. So, um, and when it did come up to close above it, it had to reach really far to do it. I just would not have liked that. So that would have been a no. It would have been a no. I remember this right here back in January because I said it was probably topping or something like that. I had tweeted on it. Um, and see a return to the mean, which is what you're always going to do. You're going to return to your mean unless you're just an absolute well tool. Then you can reject. So you'll see me sometimes take profit from the mean. You see me on here like, let me take something out because we're there. You never know what's going to happen there because that's basically all the market's trying to stay neutral. That is the whole job of the market maker is to neutralize price action. If you'd have did it here, it was just a little bit too far. It's a lot closer right here. It's not that far off from here. So let's just say I don't want to take a risk on PayPay. Now PayPay drops back into this line right here where this support level is. I will play the support. I will most certainly take a chance on support with a close enough stop loss because it's at support. So if you're losing support, then you got another battle. So I will take a chance at support, but it's not at this line, so I'm not going to buy it. I'd rather minimize my risk by waiting for price action to actually close above here. Because at least if it's doing that much, then I can bank on a chance that it is making that attempt to push into the mean, and I can use that as my stop. So right now, all of the knots, knots into the 399 or 400 is what I would be waiting on. I don't want it to be rejecting it. I want it to close above it. This is close enough to it, and then I can look for something in here. I don't see where this is actually. There's nothing in here for me to look back at. And again, yes, I see this. It looks ridiculous. But I think, when did I do that video? I don't think the video was here. I think the video may have been this run right here, right before this run right here happened, I think. Unless it was over here. Unless it was over here. I know it was a pretty nice run. I can't remember when the video was. It might have been this, and it was this run right here. I don't know. Oh. I mean, it have to be a rug pull. I don't want to take a chance on it either. So I won't be, but I will play with it if it comes back up. So I can even use this neckline right here. You could even use that. You can connect that low and that low. And then that gives you where you want to see price action come back up above right here. This trend line. Let me change the color on this, make it a little thicker. And I'm gonna go in and adjust the support levels in here and all that stuff. I will add this to the watch list as well. Pay. I like the squeeze in here. Again, it doesn't tell you how much of a move you could achieve. It just tells you that there's some underlying pressure to push prices, to drive prices up. But volatility is really low, and so you're barely getting any moves out of it. So it actually just tells you that an explosive move is going to happen. My prediction for it indicates to the upside. That's the best way for me to say it, because I guess it wouldn't be the correct information for me to say some underlying strength. No, that doesn't indicate underlying strength. It just means that there's compression in here, so there is a squeeze for the potential for a breakout, and it indicates to me that that potential breakout would go to the upside. That's what we have here. I'm gonna do myself one better favor. I don't know why I did that. I turned it off like, I have to, let me see if I did it like this. What would I capture? And because I don't like cutting through bodies, I have to change it. I think that that's still good though. Maybe it's just better that I don't go with the line here. I'll come back in and I'll mark out sections in here. Let's do that now. I mean, Bitcoin is sitting there and I can just use the price notes. Let's mark out our major pivots. That's a major pivot. This is the daddy of daddies right here, but I'm gonna go with this right here. Then I have to stretch this out, or I have to take away. Hold on. Why is this happening? Because I do need to add this. I can work out the rest of it some other time. I am going to do this one. It's like the biggest swing on this chart happened right here. It did nothing for price action when it came back down, which is sad. I'm going to do this top. We never took these twins up here. And I'm going to do this one. I probably should have waited before I dragged these lines back out. You know that? I drag it out later. I just want to, yeah, I'll come back and drag it out. I'm going to put this on here for now so I can take a look at how we perform with this. You want to make sure it's worth your time. I can already see that one is. This was from here. This was from back here. Support is always a good thing. And that was what we were looking at a few minutes ago. Good support level. As far left as you can go, the better. Where's that? I'm gonna do this low. Let me see how price. See if we respected any of these lows. I'm gonna hide that for a second. Right now, this has been your main go-to point right here. This low held up as support, so I know that that's good. This one never worked as support, but it held as resistance. Stellar. This was a big one. It held as support back in there. I mean, so they all work. I'll just leave it like this. At least that way we can look back at it and say, hey, it's that point right there. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I'll just leave it as it is, like this. Those are going to be some target points for price action. I could make a note of this little low right here. I could, because it is going to be some resistance right here. It's not a major pivot though, but it is a resistance point that if price was looking to come back up, it could, you know, if it decided to come back up that high, it could work. It looks like it basically just held the wicks that were over here. And then we'll adjust the colors on what was important in here. I don't really see like a range in here for me to work off of. Nothing. Now I can see right here. I turn this off though. I can see right here that it did have a, hold on, let me make sure. Make sure that's not showing just because of that. No, it didn't have a range right there. I don't really have much in here. Had this little range right here. Had this range right here. This one right here and that one right there, but nothing consistently long. Let me check the monthly time frame. I'm just gonna highlight some stuff that could have been important at the time. Oh no, sorry. Turn that off. Don't want to extend. So that's from the monthly. And then there was this one that only went that far. And then this one that only went this far. Yeah, stop it out right there. That only went that far. And then we have what we have right now, which is a range. This might be it right here. This entire thing right here. And I'm looking for long-term plays, so that's what I care about. I can do this right here for this weekly time frame. Maybe I just need to make a note that is coming from the weekly, and I only push it into here. That value area low held up pretty good on that point. I mean, there's nothing like support and resistance. I'm gonna tell you that right now. There's nothing like marking out actual support and resistance. Look at Bitcoin; it's getting on my nerve. My nerve. I locked this away. So once I study it a little bit more, then I can come back in and talk about that. But honestly, there's nothing like support and resistance. It's nothing like it. Nothing like it. Tells you everything you need to know. I'm gonna go back to Bitcoin in just a second because I can see it trying to stop me out. Didn't even make the 50. Might have closed. Oh, it just popped. I told y'all. Ain't some garbage. Ain't that some garbage? Isn't that about a hoot? I told y'all, rocket. God dang it. Rocket. I'm sick of it. Oh, it's the weekend. You can't. It's just not enough liquidity to play with. Now it's back to wanting to play to hold the mean. Like I need for it to really just break through this mean and just tumble is what I really need to see for it. But it wants to continue to hold in here. And if it's doing that, then it is showing some type of strength by doing so. Now it has bearish vibes at the top. Don't get it twisted. It has the bearish vibes at the top, but when you do something like that, like if you come from a high and you come down and you hold support at the mean, it gives you a strong push to the upside because you're not breaking into weakness. And I need for it to do that. And right now it wants to just continue to hold the mean. So when it comes down and it does something like that, it's either consolidating sideways and continuing up, or it's going to do some sort of a breakout. Here it just consolidated sideways until it finally did crash and burn below it. Here it got a pop, but like I said, it's still we're not there. We're not at a place where we could be doing all kinds of stuff like that. So this time frame is lying. But we staying here too long, they're gonna pump it in this whatever this imagination. If I can't see it, then I try not to put too much weight on it. We've already played out this 5 over here. Only thing I know I was looking at is this right here. So if for some reason this is wave 4 and then I'm looking for another wave down here in this case, but this is getting very extended. It's getting pretty extended. Ay, ay, ay. Seriously, Bitcoin. Seriously. I'm not going to do any more trading over the weekend. I don't think I will be doing any more just because there's not enough liquidity in the market. Like if we had the liquidity in here, I'm pretty sure we would have already had that final drop to the downside if we were going to get it. And then we'd be looking for our move up. But arranging us just takes us into probably getting that blast off top. So it's not worth it. It's not worth it. They just want to destroy me today. I just really want to destroy me today. All right, guys. I was gonna sit here and play around with that Pepe. I'm gonna comb through a couple of charts, have some things set up we can talk about later. Maybe I'll stream tomorrow and we'll just go over those, and so we'll have preparation coming into the next week for some things. I did buy myself some AVAX, and we'll see if I'm leaning a little bit bullish on that for AVAX. So I'll be watching that. Adding a little more cheddar on that if it pulls back ever so slightly. I did take that setup with some leverage. I only did like a 3x on it. Like what I know I'm willing to risk if I were to buy it spot. That's it. That's as much as I'm gonna put into it. What I'm willing to risk if I was buying it spot, like, because either way it goes, if the setup doesn't work out, you're gonna lose money, right? So how much am I willing to risk? That's all I'm putting into that position on leverage. That's it. But I'm trying to maximize the capital that I use just in case it works out in my favor. So Bitcoin, it is what it is. We really need to see a breakdown. We're not getting it right now. You can find where you're likely going to put in some bullish divergence where they might want to continue to swing price. We need to break below this low right here. So if you don't know how to read that, you just turn it to a line chart. You make it into a line chart, and you can add something on your chart to help you see like where price needs to break but close below, not just wick below, but it needs to close below it in order to invalidate potential bullish divergence that could happen right here. So if the math isn't mathing, then they'll continue to squeeze it. So if it's not below there and you see your RSI below there, which that's 46.61 on this Binance chart, and this is 46.88 or whatever it was. If it's not below If it's not below here and your RSI is, then you have bull divs, and then they're going to keep trying to squeeze the price up. Okay. So I need to see this and validate any signs that are saying that this has underlying strength. I need for it to be invalidated. I know we don't have this. That's an outlier. But can it still happen? Absolutely. It can still happen. And I mean, hopefully the short plays out. Maybe that was the last push up they wanted to do. Thank goodness I did take my feet out of the short position. I mean, to get stopped out again, it's just it's sucky. Actually, it didn't get me stopped out. I did not get stopped out. Let me just put that to you because I didn't have it at break even. How about that? Because I'd already taken something out. My bias is still that we see one more little attempt down here. Hopefully it is what I'm thinking, which is taking this liquidity down below here. That is what I'm thinking that it's going to be. And then from there, we're going to run. So you want to be looking for a long setup, in my opinion. If you're still holding from down here, then that's good. If you took the trade setup yesterday from here, then that's good. I would continue to hold that. If price does come down and stop you out, I would look for the next long setup, which, like I said, it could just be taking this. I can change this now and move this. I left it where it was because I already have it labeled as a previous day low, so I know that I would be looking for that. And let me change that back to valid liquidity. Oh, I need to do that. Just want to slide that over a little bit. Back to being valid liquidity. So they could come down here, take that. And then at that point, like I said, or maybe take this one right here. We won't really know until price comes down here, and then we'll look to see what the state of things are. Probably push out to a higher time frame, like a 1 hour. That's a good time frame for you to analyze for this move if we're going to get it. Because we did have the bull divs again down here. So 1 hour would be a good time frame for you to push out to look for divergence again, or the 4 hour. So I would do the 1 and the 4 hour, just check those two out and see if you have anything lining up. But with that said, I'm going to call it a stream. It's 8:42. I appreciate you for joining me today. I am Down to Crypto TA. You can follow me on X at Down to Crypto TA. You can also follow the Coin King at, and it's spelled with a D and an A. So D as in diamond, A as in alpha. Coin King is the rest of it over on X. And I will see you next time. Love you.